You're listening to episode 996 of the Father Bills podcast. Welcome back. Well, this week's episode is entitled A Mustard Seed of Faith, given on the 27th Sunday in Ordinary Time, 2025.
How long, O Lord, must we wait? My beavers are 0-6. How long must we wait? This was not a cry of Habakuk, what we heard in the scriptures today, but it is one that we probably do have when we take this seriously, about all the things going on around us, the crime, the violence, those things that then get glorified and sensationalized by the media we watch. We look around and see politics corrupted and relationships torn apart by division. We witness natural disasters that devastate entire villages and cities. Children abducted into the darkness of trafficking, the unborn silenced before their first breath, and wars that mercilessly crush the innocent. Addiction, cancer, mental illness claim those who are dearest to us, while those entrusted with care sometimes abuse and betray. The weight of suffering presses on us. And like Habakuk, we do honestly ask the question, how long, O Lord, till you make things right? Disturbed by his own deep concerns about society in his time and the apparent lack of response by God, Habakuk received a word from God that is, the vision still has its time, that it presses on to fulfillment and will not disappoint. If it delays, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not be late. In my reflections on today's scriptures and the myriad of our concerns that we have in our society, I came across a reflection from the now deceased Jesuit priest, John Kavanaugh, Father John, professor of St. Louis University, whose writings and homilies I have enjoyed reading for many years. Please bear with me as I now read my redacted version of a true story which he recalls to his readers. He writes, "A story I hold close returns to me, though blurred by time. A religious sister," now let's say we'll call her Sister Barbara just for clarity, a religious sister who worked in a city hospital as a midwife once encountered a lost teenager in the hospital, many months pregnant without knowing it, with no father, no family, no support. Sister Barbara promised to accompany her, visiting her weekly to teach her how to care for her body, to prepare for birth and nurture life. Fast forward 9 months later, with the sister's guidance, the girl delivered her child and cared for it well. But soon the young mother vanished into the darkness, vulnerable to its dangers. Sister Barbara wondered what happened to her, wondering if the girl had been swallowed up by the culture that preys on the vulnerable, or perhaps even lost to trafficking. And years slipped away. After many years, a letter arrived for Sister Barbara. In it were the words of gratitude, simple and profound. "I'm sorry I waited so long to thank you. I wanted to surprise you. You were so good and loving, and I wanted to be like you." Enclosed with the letter, from this girl, now a woman, was an invitation. She was graduating as a licensed practical nurse. She had drawn strength from Sister Barbara's witness, choosing to walk a path of love and service. Father John concluded that midwife, Sister Barbara, and now friend, did that for a young girl. How do I know? She did that for me. That's right. Father John's own mother was the woman in this story, saved and inspired by a religious sister's small but steadfast faith. Her trust in God's promises allowed light and new life to emerge from fear and darkness, making Father John's birth and vocation possible. And so it is with the mustard seed of faith. Its fruit often remained hidden for years, sometimes for a lifetime. But whenever love is given freely, it waters that seed, which takes root. And if we are patient, maybe one day, often when we least expect it, it blossoms and bears anew. Even a tiny mustard seed of faith, when lived out, can transform lives in ways that we may never fully see. But rest assured that God works through our small acts to shape lives for eternity, often in ways hidden from us until the fullness of time. So go out today and enter into this week with the faith that has been nurtured in your life. Be mindful of those who have inspired you in your walk with God, and go out and make a difference. Share your giftedness, your seed of faith. Give it to the world, and trust that God will take care of the rest.
Thank you again for listening to this episode of the Father Bills podcast. So I'll be heading out this week, as well as many other priests of the Archdiocese of Portland, to go to the coast for our annual priest convocation. I think we'll be speaking or listening and talking about the ongoing process for our renewal of our communities, for the mission renewal, as it's specifically called by the Archbishop, to focus on how we as priests are doing, how we can do things better, reflecting on how our parishes are doing, things like that. I don't know all the details, but I'd ask you to pray for all of us as we work with that. And we'll be back at the end of the week. And of course, you'll see us then on the weekends. If you have any questions or comments about this podcast or any other podcast, or you have a question for me, I invite you to go to my website, fatherbill.org, FRBILL.org. And there you can see things. I got a blog. I got different podcasts you can check out, as well as this one as well. I have a page about liturgy, tells you about the saint of the day, etc. I have a photo page with multiple photos, and been putting up some new images of some astrophotography. In fact, I'm now working on one that is called the Elephant Trunk Nebula, and hopefully I'll be able to get some free time during this week, maybe even to get that done. We'll see. Anyway, I'll check that out. I also have a web page, or a web page on the actual website for just Catholic links, places to go to read the news, because we are bombarded by all kinds of news. And how about we get a Catholic perspective? So Catholic News Agency, Catholic News Service, other groups around there, and you can check that out. In the meantime, may God bless you and have a great week. Bye-bye.